and welcome to the 2008 History Fashion Show. Today we will be showcasing the evolution of human poses throughout art history. Let's take a waltz down memory lane back to the times of the first human figures ever created. Our journey takes us to Vienna, Austria. Discovered in 1908 was a small plump fertility statue known as the Venus of Willendorf. Let's take a look at our models on the runway.
Ladies up in here tonight, no fighting. We got the refuge.
As you can see, our figure has a large bosom, stomach, buttocks and thighs, very small feet, and hair on the head, and no facial characteristics.
On the runway are the Abu Temple figures from the Near East culture in 2400 BCE.
These Sumerian marble statues exhibit huge staring eyes and long pleated skirts. The men wore beards to distinguish them from the women. Hands on the figures were placed in a praying position as to represent the continuous prayers to the gods.
Next, we move to the poses and positions of the art in Egypt. This art was structured with a strict canon of rules. The nobles and pharaohs were pictured idealistic and godlike, in order to house the ka in the afterlife. However, there is evidence of more realistic images in the lower classes. The models coming down the runway are Menkaure and Queen. They exhibit idealistic and stiff features to show strength and godlike qualities. The Queen shows a small action of affection to display the fact that they are married. From the lower class, we have the figure seated scribe. As you can see, the chubbiness in his lower portion is more realistic than the Menkaure and Queen. His action of writing is also a humanizing aspect. Our journey now takes us to the Cycladic Islands in 2000 BCE. A very unusual human image was displayed here made of white marble. They are known as the marble figurines. These figures are mostly women lying down as if dead. Their arms are folded across their chests. It is a mystery why these images were created, but unlike any other statue. Aegeans were replaced by the Greeks, life-size statues became commonplace. In the Archaic period, it was normal for sculptures to be stiff and rigid, exhibit perfect posture and a slight life-giving smile. As we moved to the Classical period, statues became more realistic and the revolutionary pose of contrapposto. Representing the Archaic period, we have the New York Kouros. He is stiff and rigid with long hair and a slight archaic smile. Representing the Classical period and contrapposto, we have Critios boy. He has short hair and one hip is thrust outwards and balances his weight on one foot. Later on in Greek art, we reach Hellenistic period.
In this time, realism and emotion are strongly evident. Statues invade your space and are filled with drama. This takes place between 323 and 31 BCE. Here we have our first example of Hellenistic sculpture. Its name is Nike alighting on a warship. In reality, this sculpture is headless. It has a flowing dress clinging to the body to make it appear sensual. Nike is the goddess of victory. While Nike is glorious and dramatic, our second figure is realistic and human-like. It is known as Old Market Woman. The common feature of folded garments is present here, and the woman displays realism in her old, haggard appearance. It is a scene from everyday life. Through history, a change in human image occurs once again in Etruscan art, around 500 BCE. To see a sculpture, we must venture into Etruscan necropolis to find sarcophagus of a couple made in terracotta. This couple is perched in a relaxed position in which they appear to be interacting, which has been rare up until this point. Their upper body is in a natural state, while their lower body is twisted in an impossible pose as to make the images more identifiable and less confusing. Soon after the Etruscan reign, the Romans conquered and took control. Their statues were usually made of bronze or marble. On the runway, we have the equestrian statue of Marcus Aurelius, made in 176 AD. This was one of the first known equestrian statues built. As you can see, Aurelius is noticeably larger than the horse he is mounted on. This is to signify the importance of the human and emphasize that it is the main focus of the artwork. A good example of human imagery not in sculpture would be in early Christian art in the year 100 AD to 500. The pictures of Christ as Good Shepherd and Christ as Pantocrator show realism and are flat and frontal. Here we have Christ as Good Shepherd on the left and Christ as Pantocrator on the right. Good Shepherd shows a younger Jesus taking care of his sheep, while Christ as Pantocrator's expression is angry and judgmental, so his subjects will fear him.
Soulja Boy tough. Hey, I got this new dance for y'all called the Soulja Boy. You just gotta punch, then crank back 3 times from left to right. Soulja Boy, I'm in it. Why me crank it? Why